Welcome to The Watching Dead, the officially unofficial podcast for The Walking Dead on AMC. I'm Jim.
And I'm Aaron.
And today we're talking about Season 7, Episode 4, titled Service, with a smile.
Oh, yeah.
With a smile. With a big
Negan
old...
can't stop smiling. I think he only
can't.
stopped smiling one time in the episode.
Yeah. What'd you think of this episode?
So the episode is pretty good, but I've got a couple of caveats.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I'm still really concerned about this singular plot line, and I'll talk about like that later and how it's impacting like what we're feeling about Dwight and Negan and Rick and all that stuff. Secondly, as a result of that, I'm also starting to get concerned that a little bit of Negan goes a long way, and when you're stuck with him for a full hour, it can get tedious.
Yeah.
I asked you like 45 minutes in, after one of his infamous Jesus, Rick, what do you think is going to happen now?
I need your guns, Rick.
Yeah, like,
I want your guns.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, this is like William Shatner hit upside the head with Lucille delivery. Like, speed it up. I know where this is going. I've seen this same conversation 4 or 5 times.
Right.
He hasn't worn out his welcome, but and if this was told in any kind of regular type of story where it's all threaded, and we would have gotten this episode,
right.
Maybe not this episode in over the course of 3 or 4, but I that's the thing that I'm worried about. What'd you think?
Yeah, so when you asked me that, we were watching it for funsies, right? Like, we're watching it, we're doing the live watch, we're cracking jokes, we're there to kind of just have a good time.
Entertain.
Second watch was not so kind to Negan. Second watch was not so kind to this whole episode. I actually think this episode was pretty tiresome.
Really?
Top to bottom, yeah. It didn't need to be 90 minutes, in my opinion. I could have done with a 60-minute episode.
I was going to ask you that it seemed like maybe a mistake to stretch this one out.
Yeah,
because
it was
good. It was a good plot, and it was fairly involving for what it was,
and stuff that we wanted to see, and stuff that needed to happen. Like,
right.
I get it. It all could have been fine. It overstayed its welcome to me.
Also, when is Tara and Heath ever going to get back?
Oh my God. Are they coming back? Do we even know? Have they decided just fuck it, we're leaving?
They're rolling up Fear the Walking Dead, and it's going to be Fear the Fist Bump. They're spinning them off. We're going to find out that they went on a whole adventure, and we're never going to see them again.
Yeah,
they met up with who was the Latino family that split off in season 1?
I don't remember their name.
God damn it, or it wasn't. I forget. But the ones that took the guns and left around episode 4 or 5 in season 1.
Yeah,
hooked up with them, and it's a situational comedy, heartwarming tale about family life in the apocalypse.
I might watch that one. We'll see. I'll give it an episode at least.
Sure.
But yeah, so that's basically how I felt about it. Like, I had a good old time on the first one because I wasn't really watching it. Second time through, I don't know.
I think a lot of this, I feel, are structural problems. It's not necessarily the storytelling. It's not necessarily that what's going on is not interesting. It's just that when you hold a spotlight up to one particular scene this long, it's like if you've got a monster in a rubber mask, you got to keep it in the dark. You got to keep it quick cuts. You got to keep things moving. Like Steven Spielberg and Jaws. If they ever held Jaws on frame for like 5 minutes and had him give a soliloquy, you'd be like, what the fuck is this rubber mechanical shark? Get it out of here.
Those rubber teeth chomp down on something for more than a split second.
Yeah.
Right.
And Negan's kind of like that Jaws Bond. He's even got a little bit of da-dump to him. Like, he needs to get in and out.
Yep. So, should we go into the recap?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Michonne wakes up, sleeping next to Rick, and what she doesn't know will be her last night of mattressed sleep.
Right, yeah. She would have savored it had she known.
Yeah, that's just like life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Life doesn't give you the chance to savor things before it rips them away.
So you need to savor every moment.
Every
That's
moment,
the key
Michonne.
to life.
Every quilted top moment you should have savored. She gets up in the early morning, straps on her sword after eyeing its former resting place above the mantle, then retrieves a gun from the chimney, specifically a rifle with a very long-range scope from the fireplace. Rick managed to see her go, although they don't exchange any words. She walks out into the woods, finds a field, and picks a spot on an old, burnt-out Jeep and camps out.
Yeah.
What is she doing?
I had no idea what she was doing.
Yep. I was like, this is interesting. Is she going to... Because Michonne's... it wouldn't have surprised me if she decided she needed to get away with people from a while.
Sure. Yeah.
For a while. Like, you know, everything's too real. And I thought maybe she was just going to camp out there for a while. Eugene's at the front gate working on a broken radio and ignoring reasonable requests to open the fucking gate. Rosita seems like she's got a little bit of contempt working for old Eugene.
She does, yeah. Why is that?
I don't know. Like, Eugene wanted a little taste of action, and he got it, and now he's just, like, catatonically working on this radio. And she, watching her lover, former lover, with a lot of emotional, confused feelings going around, get beat to death, has to go back out. She has no choice.
Right.
Eugene can choose to be a big fat baby.
Yeah, and he does.
And I think that's where the contempt comes from. Call me crazy.
What is going through Eugene's mind? Does he actually think this radio is going to be the quote-unquote interesting thing that Negan wants to see next time?
I don't know. I mean, that's what I was thinking. Like, a busted up... I've seen Negan's place. They're watching fucking Who's the Boss over there.
Right.
Your little busted up speaking spell you're trying to put together ain't going to cut it, man.
Maybe Negan's like a This American Life fan or something, and he's hoping he can just get that last NPR station that's just clinging to hope.
Sure, it's been bouncing back.
Ira Glass is out there.
The moon and the earth getting fainter and fainter, but you can still make out just a little bit.
Ira's out there. Ira's out there somewhere.
Oh, really?
He's on a boat. He's still broadcasting.
Pirate style?
Oh, yeah.
National Pirate Radio. So, yeah... He finally opens up the gate after he gives some half-assed speech about how he's not ready to go out there. When Negan pulls up and gives him the little taste of the little pigs, and everyone meets him at the gate and gives him a face full of shit, which I have a bit of a problem. The fact that everyone is openly stiff-necked and hostile to this guy who beat the shit out of two badasses out of the group for this kind of behavior, for specifically this kind of behavior.
They didn't see it happen, though. Spencer didn't see it happen. But Rick and Rosita, they should know better.
I mean, so I got a question, because I want to bitch, and then I want to ask if I got my way, if it would actually be better.
Okay.
I feel like this is telling the story of Rick as a broken man. That, like, look, this isn't living like we could have lived, but this is much better than when we were eating dog food out in the, when we're essentially camping.
Some of them are still eating dog food.
True.
At least one of them.
Daryl is.
Yeah.
But, on balance,
right.
it's a better life than what we had a year ago when we were running for our lives and scraping things by and getting swept up with disease and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's broken and he's like, okay, this is a level of sustenance that I will accept if it just means no more people die because I'm feeling all the weight. Like, I feel like that's the effective part of this story. Then why this sullen? Why this affect? Why not just go full in and go like full toady or just like fully compliant? Like, why give Negan an excuse to take your guns and shit like that?
Yeah.
The second thing is he's not really giving in to Negan. He just wants Negan to think he's giving in which case you should really lay low,
right.
Get him in a false sense of complacency, and then spring the trap.
Yeah.
Now, after I say that...
But you don't want to play it too toady, or you end up... He gets suspicious of that, too.
Yeah, or also, if you don't give him a bit of resistance so he can win some rewards and do things like confiscate your mattresses and burn them, maybe he does beat someone to death just... Because he's going to do something to piss you off. And if you completely roll over, then he might just go overboard.
Yeah,
if he thinks, because from Negan's point of view, he's got to keep you producing, and these are formidable people, so he can't push them too far. Like, he realizes that I think that's what's the interesting part about him is that he kind of realizes where his power is at and how fairly precarious it is.
Yeah, and I do think the episode is trying to tell us in spots that Rick is not entirely on board with this. Like, though those
I
are
think
the
they're
words.
Doing too good of a job showing that part of it is what I would argue.
Right. Especially in the face of Negan, but like specifically at the end where Negan turns his back on Rick, and you can see that Rick is gripping the bat, thinking, "Oh, I could take him out right now.
This is the moment.
This could be it." And then he turns around and Rick immediately goes limp again. Like that that to me says that Rick is going to try to resist somehow when Negan isn't looking. So I really do think that, Rick has not just completely rolled over despite the words coming out of his mouth, because in this moment they are powerless for sure.
Gotcha. Okay, so Negan beats a walker to death at the front gates as a way of like showing that he's protecting his people, and then he has Rick hold Lucille. The next he says hot diggity dog, and what I can only describe as an Austin Powers type smash unzoom, where it's tight on Negan's face and it explodes out and shows like all the saviors and they got jazz hands. Like, it was such a weird choice for this establishing shot.
Huh, okay. I didn't notice it.
Yeah, like I don't know. It was just crazy camera move. I don't know what you would call it, and I don't know what purpose they thought it was serving, but I thought it was distracting.
What do you make of the service, that he's delivering here? Is this actually going to be worth anything? Like, are there things out there that they need protection from that they couldn't have protected themselves from?
Well, clearly Negan.
Right. Is there anything else out there, though?
Is there
what I mean.
a bigger army? I don't know.
Right.
Is there someone that owns, the
is there a herd they don't
gas
know
town
about?
and the bullet farm, and they're going to come calling?
Maybe. Yeah, Mad Max style.
Sure. I don't, humongous butthole or whatever. I don't know. Maybe. Because that's the thing is, like, Rick thought he could handle every threat with this group.
Right.
And he found out he can't. So, he spots Daryl and tries to say hi to his friend. Well, not just say hi, but see how he's doing. And Negan shuts that shit down. He then creeps out Rosita. Then Rick suggests that he's got some ideas on how they can divvy up half the supplies. And Negan says, "Nope, you don't get to do that. I decide what's half." Which is the first of the mini Darth Vader style "pray I don't alter the deal any furthers" that he gets from Negan. And there's a lot of Alexandrians you can see in their face they're not too sure about this turn of events. Although I would like to say, what the fuck are they going to do about it? Because these guys have historically been fucking useless.
That's
and then
true.
Negan asks Rick to show him around, which he does reluctantly. We have a B plot here with Dwight. Dwight wants Daryl's bike. He confiscates Rosita and Spencer's guns. They were about to go on a supply run. He steals Rosita's hat. He empties their water canteen pointlessly. Dwight is run for asshole of the year here.
Yeah, and it's real strange to me.
Because this is the first, I think, of many problems with the episode caused entirely by this singular plot focus. Because we advanced Dwight's understanding, or our understanding of Dwight's character so much in the previous episode that this seems weirdly throwback.
Yeah.
Like, well, who is he? Is this who he really is? Or is he doing this as a way to hide his true bleeding heart self? Like, it's super confusing. And if these stories were told in parallel, you could see Dwight the asshole and then the cracks beneath the facade. But we've seen the facade and the foundation crumble, and now we're left with just a kind of false note sounding vicious Dwight.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I also thought they were being pretty careless about how they search this town. Like, nobody suspects that this might be a trap. Nobody. They're just walking in. Strolling, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I would be worried about the first meeting at a defensive easily defended location,
especially
with a new group of people.
They brought Daryl with them, which is their kind of like hostage for safe conduct.
Right. Now the trap can be sprung. We can get Daryl back. There will be no consequences. We'll kill all of them. Game over. But, that's just me.
Yeah.
Not Negan, apparently.
Yeah. Rick doesn't have his man bush to prop him up anymore.
They're doing a hell of a job, though, making me hate these characters.
Hell
because
yes.
I hate Dwight. I hate Negan. I hate
little girl guy.
Dave or
Davey.
Davey. Yeah. Fucking hate all those guys.
Yeah, they're the worst. They're the worst. I hate Bones Face or whatever what is her name? Bonesaw? Haggis? Frank.
Yeah, Frank.
That's her name.
That's her name.
Yeah,
Frankie.
Yeah, all of them. They're all a bunch of assholes. Anyway, Michonne's out in her field, and she's trying to hit a walker from long range. And it's not as easy as it looks, because she's apparently not sighted in the scope. She's trying to use this rifle just standing up, not and then you find out that she's also trying to use this long-range scope to shoot something from about 30 foot away, just having a bad time with it. Gets frustrated and ends up slicing the walker's head clean in twain, which was a pretty amazing visual.
Yeah, I actually like that she's kind of terrible at shooting. It's interesting to see a badass just totally out of their element.
Right.
Because she is in her own right a badass, just not with guns.
Right. It's like, in D&D, a swordsman trying to decide they're going to be a spellcaster.
Yeah, it's not going to work out well.
Rough.
You're a tank.
It's rough when you try to do those cross-class switcheroos. She also finds out she accidentally assassinates a deer, which has got to be like a 1 in a million kind of shot.
Yeah, I'll let it slide.
Because deers are not famously drawn to gunfire.
Mm-hmm.
I also think this would be really funny if you contextualize this as the Bambi story. Like, Bambi entirely takes place in the post-apocalyptic future, overrun by zombies. Bambi's mother wasn't shot by hunters. It was shot by Michonne, who was using a zombie. It's just even more pointless existentialism in your Bambi film. What's the point of her shooting the deer?
I don't know. Maybe she got something innocent killed when she was trying to kill something not so innocent. Maybe that's the thing they're going after here, the idea.
There's also this is like the kind of the silver lining. Well, I'm a shit shooter, but hey, fresh venison, and then it gets taken away by Negan at the end.
It does, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, not everything has to have a point. I thought it was kind of fun, and it let Denai kind of run around and perform. This seems like it's the hardest job as an actor when you don't have anything to go off of. You just have a script that says you're supposed to be feeling these things and doing these things, and you don't have anyone, you don't have a partner that you can bounce off of. It's just you and the camera and a dead deer. And,
in some ways, I imagine that would also be like the most freeing because you don't have somebody else's words that you have to vomit forward
someone else
from your
hogging
mouth.
Up your screen time. You got to share that.
No. Somebody else's words coming out of your
Right.
mouth, like trying to adapt your performance to someone else's words.
Right.
I imagine is probably one of the harder parts of being an actor.
Yeah.
But I think the point of all of this is Michonne is the new Andrea, right?
Did Andrea ever get to be a good shot?
I mean, she hit Daryl from pretty far away. She was a way better shot than Michonne, that's for sure.
But she wasn't supposed to.
I know, but she hit her target.
The story there is she almost killed Daryl, not, hey, she's a pretty fair shot. Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Could be. Negan, it turns out, is there mostly to steal furniture from the Alexander safe zone. He's stealing.
And their keyboards.
Yep. Their skeet blankets,
wine racks.
It's all essentially a giant Goodwill that they got $20 and it's infinite tag popping.
Yeah, how can you be living like a king without a keyboard? That's what I want to know because
good question. I certainly can't.
The guys in Negan's plays are apparently quote unquote living like kings, if we're to believe Dwight. I wouldn't want to live without a keyboard.
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't buy in a million years that Dwight would spend his precious electrical budget watching Who's the Boss. Now, Nasty Nymphos 3, sure.
Right.
Like, nobody is circulating 80s sitcoms, man. It's going to be pornography.
Maybe he's seen it one too many times, Nasty Nymphos, and now he's on
he's got
the Danza kick.
Yeah. He's got an addiction for Danza. Anyway... So he's also pilfering beers, I guess, is what he pulled out of that cooler and took like one sip and then threw it on the ground. That was pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
He watches Rick's induction video where Deanna's interviewing him and he's talking crazy Rick, and he's got what Negan accurately describes as a man bush.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, man, I would not have messed with that guy, but that's not you anymore. And he taunts them. And then he says he wants to see Maggie because widows are empty inside and he likes to fill them. Father Gabriel then shows up and creeps him the fuck out, which I thought is one of the best moments of the show. Like, it's very self-aware. Like, nobody likes this character.
Right.
And Negan accurately just breaks him down exactly what the hell's wrong with him. His collar and his freaky-ass smile.
Yep.
Father Gabriel improvises that Maggie didn't make it. And...
So here... Oh, man. So here's where things start to break down a little bit.
Okay.
It's actually not here. It's when the gun stuff comes up, but this is the beginning of it. So keep in mind as you watch the next hour of the episode.
Sure.
That Rick is totally fine lying to Negan about Maggie having made it. Because none of us believe that Maggie's dead, right?
No, I didn't.
Okay, because Sasha's not around, so
and
obviously...
the way Father Gabriel, he kind of bops up kind of in tee-hee kind of mode.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, this is not how
he says a grave that's never going to be filled and like all this stuff. So Maggie's not dead. Rick is totally fine lying to Negan's face about a member of their group being dead.
Which...
Keep that in mind going forward to the gun part of this.
Yeah, because the other thing is, this is not an easy secret to keep safe. This is one of the leaders of their community that is currently trying to make their way to Hilltop, which currently was trying to lead a rebellion against Negan.
And is also giving supplies to Negan. He's going to... Like, his guys are going to go there eventually to the Hilltop.
Right.
Like... This is the problem. Maggie doesn't know about this lie either.
Uh-huh.
So Maggie's walking around free-spirited and fun.
You're right.
And suddenly Negan rolls up and he's like, "Oh, well, I guess it's time to kill somebody."
Yep. No, it's going to be a shit show. Which that's fine if that actually comes to pass.
But I don't know that they'll even acknowledge that it's some kind of cognitive dissonance here between the idea that Maggie can live and he can lie about it, and the guns can all need to be given to Negan.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. And also, like, I don't know what to think about Negan as far as like last week people were trying to push this whole like, oh, Negan, he's got some shades to him because he doesn't rape women, doesn't he?
Yeah, I don't know exactly what he's getting at with Maggie.
I mean, and the Rosita and a lot of like, it seems like, and like again, demanding that you marry and have sex with me so you can have your life-saving medicine. I don't consider full consent either. So
yeah, and we talked about that with Dwight. Like, oh, pick anybody, any woman, as long as she says yes.
Right.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah. Do you get it? I mean, can she be high and strung out before she says yes?
Right.
What does that mean when Negan says, yeah, take a free pass? This, what happens to the woman that says no?
He's like sating his own conscience there, and it's
pretty
ridiculous.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But there has a gunshot in the middle of this conversation, and Negan and Rick are having. Negan shifts to all business mode, and I kind of like this Negan. I like when Negan drops the act, and you can kind of see him go into the cunning animal mode that he operates in.
Okay.
And if in my mind, the mistake this episode makes is he shifts too much into the disarming, charming bullshit a mile a minute Negan.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking like, I don't know, but I still can't. I'm trying to think of like. The coolest character on The Wire, Omar Little, right? Like, what if the Wire seasons were like this, where all of Omar's story took place in the form of like 1 or 2 episodes?
Uh-huh.
Like everything he's doing, you find out, and like I'm like, that's a little too much. Like he's not a character that can carry that much screen time. I feel the same way about Negan.
Yeah. Like, or if every moment you interacted with Omar, he was Omar from the courthouse, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like Omar in bed with his lover, like
right. He's in Omar Cullen mode all the time, like
right.
Yeah, that's not who he is 100% of the time, and that's not what makes him interesting. I don't know.
Maybe we'll get more of that.
It's puzzling to me because I feel like this is elementary kind of storytelling, and the refusal to get away from this format 3 years in is very puzzling to me, because it seems like there's obviously this is what is causing a lot of the pacing and character problems at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, they bust in, and Carl's holding a gun on this fucker named Davey, who's taking all their medications. Carl says, "You said half, you son of a bitch." Carl's hair. Everyone's struggling not to laugh at it.
It's trying to wrap itself around Carl and devour him.
That's the thing. His giant man-sized balls push out so much testosterone. He just had a haircut 3 days ago. It's just a runaway hair situation.
Rick's ex-girlfriend, whatever with the kids,
sure.
Wasn't she doing the haircutting?
Jessie, she was
Jessie,
one of them.
yeah.
She was cutting her son's hair anyway.
Right, that's what's happening here.
Their only barber has gone down the drain.
Yep, it's like their only doctor.
Anyway, Negan says, "Hey, look, kid, I get your giant balls and your giant hair, but am I really gonna have to prove how serious I am again?" And I'm like, man, this is like the third time this has happened this episode. someone should have been beat to death. Like, I'm starting to take Negan not so serious. Like, he's starting to show some kind of weakness. Like, the fact that he's not just ruthlessly enforcing his will makes me feel like that maybe he's more afraid to do that for whatever reason than I'm thinking.
Huh. Well, he does depend on these colonies, right?
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you push people too far with any kind of torture or hardship, there gets a point where people are like, nothing is worse than this.
Right.
So fuck this shit. I don't even care. I want to take this person down. And maybe he thinks that he's got Alexander too far on that point already, and now he's got nowhere that he can escalate. He's just empty bluster and threats, because there's a lot of places where it seems like Lucille should have come out and beat some people to death, and it didn't happen. Anyway.
You think Carl's going to be any kind of problem for Negan? I mean, he seems to be putting up the most resistance of anyone aside from maybe Rosita at the end of this episode.
Well, what's really interesting about Carl is if you take that thought and you mix it with the things he actually articulated to his father about how he feels let down and skeptical of his father's rule when, Rick was in that weird kind of coma thing.
Yeah.
It makes it seem like there's an interesting dynamic here. He's like a loose cannon. Who does he respect? What does he want to do? What is he loyal to?
Yeah, and what leverage does Negan have on him?
Right.
I mean, I imagine of all the people here, probably the least.
Yeah,
there's Judas.
16-year-old boy is the best bet in any community to be like, don't give a fuck.
Right. Birds to the world, I'm doing this, Dad.
So my question is, if this outburst hadn't happened, and maybe if Rick played this a little bit smoother, does Alexander get to keep their guns?
I don't think so.
Well, doesn't the kingdom have guns? I know they predominantly have spears and swords and whatnot, but I thought there's a couple points where they did have actual guns, too. Maybe that was just Morgan. Maybe Morgan's got the gun, and that's why he's special.
You might be right. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I didn't see any guns at the hilltop, but I feel like that maybe if he's sufficiently convinced that a community is going to accept his rule, because it does seem like you need guns. Like, what happens if a fucking herd shows up?
Yeah.
Like, Alexander could be swept off the map, and there's nothing they can do about it, and there's nothing you can do for them.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would just wonder if they kind of fucked themselves with this gun situation. Olivia then shows him the armory and her accounting system, and he makes a lot of disparaging comments about her waistline and her suitability for being in charge of the pantry.
Which, to be fair, the fans have made as well. I mean, we've all had our fun.
It's an easy joke. That's what
Sorry,
I'm saying.
Olivia. But
I my respect falls in because you never go with the obvious jokes. If that's all you can come up with,
that's true.
Keep noodling. But he also says, "Hey, look, Rick, I'm not taking any of your food because I see how bad off you are. I'm taking all the other shit, but the food is something you need to survive, and I need you to survive to keep given to me." And he wants a thank you from Rick, and Rick stone faces him. Seems like, again, there's a balance here. Like, you don't want to go too far and think that, like, make it obvious that you're carrying him. I don't know. I just felt like that they didn't get the balance just right in this episode.
Yeah, I'm with you. I also, this idea of I'm a very reasonable man so long as you cooperate.
Right.
That's the very definition of unreasonable.
Sure. I'm reasonable if everything goes my way.
Yeah.
That is psychopath talk.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a good one.
And I guess, is the show trying to use that to tell us that he's a very unreasonable man, or do they actually think that he is somewhat reasonable?
No, I think all this stuff is just him being an asshole and kind of, I don't know, sizing up Alexander and deciding what best kind of motivation they need. Because what it seems like, it's like, do these guys need a kick in the ass? Do they need a bunch of idle threats? Do they need a pointless, like, is burning their mattresses essentially the same as beating one of them to death? I don't know. And I don't know how much he knows what he's doing and how much he's just kind of, like, feeling the stuff out. But the bottom line in this scene is he says, look, I'm going to give you one chance to get right with this gun situation. And, there better not be any guns hiding out in the breeze, because that's going to be a your ass moment. Spencer is off with Rosita trying to find Daryl's bike to give it back to Dwight, and he's just bitching nonstop about Rick and the mess he's gotten him into, and Rosita wanders off. I remember thinking, what the fuck is she doing? but also being grateful that we don't get a one episode entirely about the search for the bike. So
yeah.
Negan test fires what I think is a Desert Eagle through one of the Alexandrians' windows.
Looks like it.
Has a really good time fantasizing about the rocket launcher and what kind of fun he's going to have with that. We find out that the people that that the Daryl wasted that rocket launcher is Little Timmy and the Dick Brigade.
Right.
I love it. That's a great name.
It was their doo-wop band.
That's what's a great name for a band.
Yeah.
And they find out they're short with what's in the armory and what's out in the walls. They're missing a Glock 9 and a 22, which are pretty insignificant guns, and I think that's the point.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells Olivia that she's been doing a shit job and that this is a job that involves life and death, and she's going to have an accounting.
He's right.
Yeah,
keeping track of the guns, it is life and death.
And Spencer's not a criminal mastermind.
Right.
Like, this is Carol sneaking chocolate out of the pantry levels of ineptitude. But that's who we know Olivia is.
Olivia.
Rick then calls everyone to the church and gives the congregation a sermon on the sin of theft and thievery. Alexandrians openly ask why do they care, because it's just two guns and kind of little guns at that. Mm-hmm. And Rick says, look, you guys can either let someone die or you can help us out. There is no way out of this. Aaron's boyfriend asked to say, okay, fine, what do we get the guns, but how are we going to get ourselves out of this? Rick says there is no way out. This is our life from here on out.
Right. So wherever you're hiding Maggie, bring her out. We got to give her up.
Right.
No, he doesn't say that.
Clean. We're going to always hide Maggie. She's going to essentially be the Anne Frank of the compound from this point forward.
So I like the beginning shot of this because Rick takes a look at this bat at Lucille that he's been given, and that's one of the things I like about this episode is giving Rick Lucille does a few things. Actually, it's a reminder that he has to do it as he's told, right? Or here's the consequence. It's also kind of a symbol to the rest of the people here in Alexandria that he is Negan, in as much as anyone is Negan. Like, he is now complicit with Negan, and this is your leader, and you need to do as he tells you. And when he tells you to listen to me, you're going to do that.
And some of this with Spencer kind of reinforces that, too, that, you can see Rick going down this road and being like a mini Negan, or could have been a Negan in his own right.
And it also represents to the people that he got Abraham and Glenn killed.
Right.
I mean, that is a constant reminder to them as he totes this around the city. So I actually do like that they gave him the bat at the beginning, and only at the end of this episode do they give it back.
Yeah, and I even like the fact that, if you look at these last two seasons as an overall arc, it's kind of it's fine to wonder, would Rick have turned into Negan in the Saviors if he kept on going down that path?
Yeah.
Because he's kind of, that's what he did to the Hilltop. He kind of extorted them for protection money. And he just couldn't deliver is the only problem.
Right.
If he had it delivered and then he met the Keenan, does everyone keep paying Alexandria tribute? Does Rick become kind of like this,
That's a good question, yeah. How often does he collect? What does he take?
Right. And those are fun. Those are fun questions to ask for too.
And there's also the idea that's being thrown around in this episode about whether or not Rick actually got Abraham and Glenn killed. And Rick questions it. Spencer obviously believes it.
Right.
Michonne, I don't know where she stands. She's kind of weird at the end of the episode here.
Seems like
she does, yeah. But who knows if Rick's talk swayed her. But I feel like Rick himself is wondering, did I get these people killed?
Yeah.
And it's not until Shane's speech where I start to understand that he maybe has accepted what is happening here.
Right.
As partially his fault. Sometimes you get people killed, and it is your fault.
Burdens of command, man.
Yeah, and now I wonder if he feels any kind of relief giving up this command to Negan. Because now he's not the guy who you can point the finger at and say, you're getting us killed.
Yeah, and I guess the only thing that blunts the effectiveness of this is this happened in the prison arc, too, where he became Farmer Rick and abdicated all of his power to the ruling council until it's fuck it, you guys, I've had enough. It's back to a dictatorship all over again. Mm-hmm. And this character, which, by the way, that dictatorship speech happened after the farm. So this is now the third time that he's gone through a cycle of king power and abdication of the throne.
Yeah.
So you know.
How many more times do we have to watch it?
How many more seasons are we going to get, Jim?
How many more guns are buried in that grave? That's what I want to know.
That Maggie's grave is nothing but guns.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to find out. So at this point in the episode, I was strongly suspecting either Carl or Enid had stolen the guns. Were you kind of there with me, or were you on the Spencer all along, or did you think that...
I wasn't on to Spencer, no. But I guess Rick's justification for being on to Spencer later makes sense. You know, he's done this kind of thing before. He hid the bottle of booze.
Right.
He's weak.
Mm-hmm.
And his choice in guns shows it. He's pulling a tiny little 22 and a 9mm. Come on. Yeah. There's a Desert Eagle to be had, man.
Sure, there's a rocket launcher to be had.
There's a fucking rocket launcher.
Although I think, to be fair, even Olivia misses the rocket launcher.
Yeah, she probably does.
There's this giant rocket launcher-shaped hole on the pegboard. Gee, there was something there. Maybe it was a 22. I don't know. I'm not a gun person. But anyway, Eugene then observes that not everyone is here, which is, I think, a dig at, like, where the hell's Michonne?
Where the hell is everybody? Yeah. There are 9 people not here.
Right. There's
Any
Tara,
of them could have
Heath.
hidden the guns.
Sure. Probably not Tara and Heath, because they left before the Negan kind of threat. Like 2 years ago, I think they'd set off.
Right. Maybe they took some guns with them.
Yeah, they're hanging out with Tabitha in the woods, I think.
Tara and Heath are missing as fuck. Rosita's gone. Spencer's gone. Michonne's gone. Daryl's gone. Sasha, Maggie. Like, holy shit, there are a lot of missing people.
Right. Rosita is stalking walkers, which we find out later are former saviors that they fought at the train yards before. Spencer fucks up her element of surprise by screaming her name behind her. And she has to take down numerous ex-savior zombies, including my favorite, zombie Ron Swanson.
Right.
She takes them all out, and a particularly noteworthy one is the one at the end where she impales its face on a tree stump, I think.
Yeah.
Pretty gnarly.
I was going to ask you, zombie kill of the week, tree stump kill or the face slash at the beginning?
I think the face bisecting, and it's like the CAT scan. Like they got all.
It was pretty sweet.
All the sinus cavities laid out, all the sweetbread there hanging out of a skull. I thought that was pretty sweet.
What about Negan with the candlestick at the end?
That's pretty good too.
He just kind of pulls that thing's face off towards the ground.
Yep, just gives him a lobotomy.
Yeah,
they're all pretty strong. I still think the bisected head is my favorite. But reasonable people can disagree.
Give it to that.
So she's doing this to find a gun, and she finds one and finds out it's empty and is pissed. And she tries to explain to Spencer the reason this guy took our guns is because they're going to disarm us, and we need to have some kind of advantage. And she taunts him, saying, "Are you going to tell them?" And then she says, "This is not our life." And he says, "You know what? There's like 3 or 4 other pages about what our life is and how the world is out here, and I'm just going to walk away. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead."
Yeah,
and we thank him. Very weird. The scene just kind of wimped apart at the end.
That's fine. I didn't want to see 5 minutes of them dialoguing about how their life has changed or how their life hasn't changed.
But it's
because this happens over and over in this show.
But what was Spencer's emotional state when he turned away from her? Was it anger? Was it frustration? Was it disgust? It seemed like it was nothing. It literally seemed like the script says I spin on my heel and walk in the other direction with a neutral look on my face. Like, what the fuck is going through his mind? I don't know.
It's better than them just throwing back, "This is our life. This ain't our life. No, this is our life now.
Yep.
Nope, ain't our life now." Like, every time a "here's not here" or a "we ain't them" starts to come up in this show, and they did it in this episode with "this is not our life,"
right?
I roll my eyes because that is... this show does that so many times.
It's their happy place. It's like where they like to go. I feel like I feel like they got a copy and paste thing where they can.
It just feels like I can see the writers. I can see the writers on the screen writing this shit and saying
they got a "this ain't our life" generator at this point.
They just press a button. Yeah,
right. It just you put in the characters, how many there are, what scene, what is it, day, night, or is it one of those crazy night days or
Might
day
be both.
nights?
Yeah.
And then it just spits out the scene.
And there's probably like a bet behind the scenes. How many times can we stick this phrase into an episode?
Sure.
And how many different characters can express this sentiment or the exact opposite of it?
How many characters can assert the truth of something and another character just immediately comes back and argues that truth is in fact wrong?
Right.
and not self-evident.
They go to this well over and over, and I hate it every time.
So we then go back to Rick, who is tossing Spencer's place because he thinks that he's got the guns. Father Gabriel bounces up and says, I just know this is going to work out, Rick, because we're friends and everything's cool. And get the fuck out of here, Father Gabriel. Everyone still hates you. Sorry, Seth, but everyone still hates your character, man. And I
thought when they were in this church that Gabriel was going to be outside boarding the windows up. I thought he was going to be shutting this operation down.
And then he's going to be like, I've delivered them all to you, Negan.
Right.
This is just me now, and I'm as compliant as a fucking bowl of Play-Doh. So he congratulates him for the quick thinking about the graves, which I don't understand where they're trying to go with this quick thinking on the graves, because Maggie ain't just some nondescript woman who Negan doesn't know what it looks like. She's a strikingly beautiful woman in the zombie apocalypse who was pregnant, probably still is, and she's at the hilltop, one of Negan's other outposts. Like, literally, unless they're going to just, take her in a hay wagon to or fro in the dead of night, how do they expect us to work out and not have some kind of head bash situations beyond me? Yeah. But whatever, Father Gabriel believes, and I guess in a little way, so do I. And Rick then stumbles upon the gun, the food, the booze stash under a register at Spencer's house. And I liked how as he picks each one out, he just slams it down. Like, oh my
God,
gets
more
fucking
and more
yams. Bang. Oh, these fucking string beans. I could have used that in my casserole. Bang. What's this scotch? God damn it. And like, it just.
And he loses his mind at the guns.
Yeah, he just slams him down. It's hilarious.
Yeah, he needs some new boots, too. Did you get a good look at his boots?
I bet you don't get a lot of new boots in the apocalypse.
Why not? Yeah. There are boot outlets. You're in the South, man. True. You were in the South. Go to the boot store.
There are not a lot of boot stores in Washington, D.C.
Yeah,
not a lot of cowboy boots. Although you'd think with all the Texas senators and all the Southern senators, they'd need some boots.
I would, yeah.
Like John McCain probably could keep a bootery in business just by himself.
Bootery.
Also, gotta have his boots, man.
I find it weird that they are clinging to the idea of Deanna herself. Like they're describing this place as Deanna's house and Deanna's office, and like isn't it all Spencer's now?
Well, I think that's intentional that he's such a lightweight. It's still Deanna's place, because I noticed that too. Like her architectural roles and Reg's designs for the role and Barley equals intellect was all just rolled up and stored in these. What do you call? I mean, I've seen baskets of blueprints and shit, but. Yeah, your mom's still looming over. Her shadow's bigger than yours is, Spencer. Yeah. So he goes out and wait, I've lost where I'm at in my notes. Oh yes. So there's this creepy guy that coasts Enid on account of her green balloons, and he won't give it back to her until she says please twice. And then he says, "Be careful, little girl." He says "little girl" about 12 times, and it's super creepy. And I'm wondering, where is Negan on this shit? Like, he's all, hey, we don't treat people like this unless they do. What the fuck has Enid done?
Right.
Other than being a sullen teenager. Maybe I just answered my own question. Negan wants to know which of the people hid the gun, and Rick tries to minimize it, and he's like, nope, you need to get everybody on board, or we go back to square one. And then I did like the way they composed this shot where they're shooting it from inside the weapons van, and you can just see it's fucking crammed full of heavy artillery. Like, all the things that Rick is giving up, and you got to really think, like, how are they going to win? Like, there was a conventional, okay, lay low, then rebel. He's taking all their fucking guns, man.
Yeah.
He's got the numbers and the guns. So what do you do now? Get really good at bow and arrow?
Maybe.
I mean,
don't know.
They have fought those wars before. Spoiler alert, guns win.
Yeah.
Guns win over bows and arrows every time.
I don't know, and I guess that's why it's an interesting dilemma for the town, is because Negan is more powerful than them.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're talking about pure might here, there's no contest.
No. There wasn't any, and now it's even less so.
Yeah.
Rick is escorting Negan to the front gates where they're going to say goodbye, but he spies Michonne in the building, and for whatever reason... I guess the reason is he wanted to get the gun that he knew Michonne had and give it to Negan as an olive branch, right?
Yeah.
But why does he ask for the second? And more importantly, why does Negan let him have it?
Because he says please. I mean, that seems to be...
That's literally the magic word, please and thank you, or with what Negan wants to hear out of people.
wants some respect, I guess.
I don't know. It's weird that a couple of times this episode he says initially no, and then essentially, well, go ask your mother, see what she has to say. Like that's
Okay.
that's not great parenting. It's certainly no way to run a post-apocalyptic warlord ship, I wouldn't think.
Yeah.
So anyway, and that's the thing is like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who I like playing this character, he's got this insufferable smirk as he's letting Rick get his way, and something I get is very small, but still, smirk all you want. Rick just got the upper hand for just a little bit, right?
Well, no, because he allowed him to do it, and I think that's what Negan gets off on is the power. Like he had to ask him if he could go talk to.
He likes being the gatekeeper.
Sure.
Okay.
Gatekeeper? Yeah, that sounds about right. I was thinking about the procedure of all of this in this scene and kind of how I assume this won't be the procedure going forward. Like you roll up with a large force. Negan himself comes in and they ransack the town because we've seen the other colonies don't have that arrangement, right? Like, I mean, Ezekiel's meeting them out in some random location and just trading stuff on trucks.
Right.
So I don't know what this looks like going forward. Maybe if there's a problem, Negan shows up personally, but he may not be back for a while.
Yeah, he wanted to go in this one because it was a show of force.
Yeah.
It was the first time. So he wanted to wave Lucille around and slide his dick in Rick's throat.
Right.
Which he accomplishes. So he goes and explains to Michonne about, the fact he's been carrying Lucille around all day and that he needs a rifle because, he this is the way it's got to be. And he says, look, I'm not losing anybody else. I'm giving this rifle to them. Are you going to let me? Which I thought was a good way to play it with Michonne because it's not like, Rick's unarmed. She's got the katana and the rifle. Mm-hmm. He can't take shit from her.
No.
So she acquiesces. Negan says, this is a way to read the room and get the message by giving up this gun. And he goes, just said it once, said it before. You, sir, are special. Rick then says, since we follow the rules, real good, sir, can Daryl stay the night? And he says,
where would he sleep?
Right.
You have no beds.
Yeah, no mattresses. I mean,
he'll be more comfortable at my place.
Think of Daryl's comfort, would you, Rick, you prick? And he says, well, maybe Daryl can plead his case, and Daryl doesn't say a damn thing.
Yep. Good for you, Daryl.
Yep. And he says, look, you need to go earn for me. If I come back and you don't have anything interesting, like a radio or something, I don't know, just spitballing here, Lucille is going to crack another one of your nuts open.
Yep. And
also no more magic guns. And then he steals Michonne's deer, which goes back on his promise not to take any food.
Right.
And taunts Rick about or a couple more times. We then switch to Dwight taunting Rosita, giving her hat back. And he says, I took all your guns and most of your beds. And then Rosita gets a good smack back on him when he says, did you find anything else out there? And he goes, just your dead friends that we killed with our guns that you just took.
Right.
And that's it. He says, you want me to get out of here? You got to say the two magic words, thank you. Negan beats another zombie's head in with a candlestick. Why did he use the candlestick?
Because he wanted to have this moment where he goes, Oh, you didn't think I was leaving without Lucille, did you? I guess.
He planned this out. Do you think he, workshopped this? Like, he practiced it? Like, okay, you're going to be Rick. He's, just practicing, a presidential debate. I want you to be Rick, and I want you to play it, really fucking stiff prick. And now I want you to play Toady. And he's, he had the whole candlestick scenario going. I don't know.
Yep.
He gets Lucille back from Rick. And then tells him you just sucked my dick and said thank you. And Rick sees the true face of horror of a man who's been emasculated in front of another man. Negan takes off, runs over a zombie, and crushes its head.
Yeah.
Anything to say about this scene?
The
candlestick did do violence to that zombie.
It was pretty cool. So I talked earlier about how Rick kind of looks at Negan and is thinking about bashing him with Lucille, and maybe I don't know, trying to usurp his power or something, but and how they were kind of trying to show us that he's going to rebel by having him do this while his back is turned. He also looks up at this sign at the Alexandria safe zone there, and it says "Vengeance for Plunderers" at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Yet another hint that maybe Rick is not totally cowed.
Right. It is still the official policy.
Or maybe they're using it in the most ironic way, which is, you just let all this happen, Rick, and there's your slogan up there. Good job, buddy.
And vengeance for plunderers? Maybe if
right, not a pawn.
You can interpret that as like it's, so Rick then confronts Spencer and like, yo, man, you were hiding guns and booze and food. And he does the classic, caught with his hand in a cookie jar response of, you searched my house?
Right.
Like, what's all these receipts for whores in your mailbox? What, you went through my email? Like,
right.
Okay, yeah, that's a point, but I think we're way past that argument at this point. And I like Rick's response, like, look, I'm not faulting you for keeping the guns. That's a smart move. But hoarding liquor and food, that just makes you soft and weak.
Mm-hmm.
And Spencer tries to crack back with Abraham and Glenn, and he says, I'm going to knock your teeth out and break your jaw if you ever say anything like that to me again.
Yep.
That's straight out of the Negan playbook, yeah?
I'm going to bite your dick, I'll bite your nose, rip your throat out.
Yep.
All of those things will happen.
Your neck, your back, your pussy, and your crack. I'm going to bite it all. And
it's interesting, too, because, like, he's taking his own frustrations and his own powerlessness out on Spencer in this moment. You can see it. I mean, he feels like the bigger man, or not the bigger man in the sense of, like, he's a better person, but, like,
right.
He's a tougher guy than Spencer here, whereas he was just dominated by Negan.
Well, and also the show's kind of schizophrenic, and so is the comics a little bit, in that it wants us to believe that this is the bad way to wield power when Negan's doing it, but also, time and time again, they've shown it to be the only effective way to wield power post-apocalyptically.
Yeah.
So, like, eventually the show's going to have to turn the corner and show that, like, the good and decent way can win out long-term.
Yeah, there needs to be some balance. I mean,
because it seems like every time Rick's back against the wall, he Negans his way out of it, and then when the crisis is over, okay, well, we don't have to do all the dictatorial shit anymore until the next crisis.
Right.
So, like, what the hell?
Yeah,
I don't know what that what kind of worldview that is, and I don't know if I want to hear 15 minutes of soliloquy on it. So Rosita then jumps Spencer, and is incredibly pissed off that he knew he had guns and ammo and didn't think to tell her. And he throws back, well, I didn't trust Rick, and you're right, this doesn't have to be our life. And she's like, whatever.
This old thing again.
And retrieves her gun from the wheel well of the car. I don't want Rosita to fall in love with Spencer. Like, I know that they had like a little side piece thing going on.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think Rosita's in serious trouble.
What about Spencer? Do you think Spencer's going to straighten up and fly right? Or is he going to continue to antagonize both Negan and Rick and get himself killed?
Spencer's going to get killed. Rosita's going to get killed.
Yeah.
I think they're the next two to go because, I mean, Rosita's looking to kill Negan.
Yeah.
This bullet that she wants made, that is an assassination bullet.
Do you think she cares what would happen to the Alexander Saves?
Nope.
So she's in like, fuck it, this guy just needs to die.
Yeah.
Interesting. Do you think there's any way that she's going to find something to care about in the town enough that she's going to go? I mean, what is her arc at this point?
Maybe.
Because you're right. If she's just a suicide bomber at this point, something would have to make her give a shit about the people that she's going to be hurting to steer her off that course.
Right.
Because she's capable of, she's fully capable of doing it.
Yeah. So. Or her plan just doesn't work out and Negan gets the upper hand and kills her first. Or something.
Yeah.
Or Spencer fucks it up like he did in this episode.
Right. She's sneaking up right behind Negan. Rosita, what are you doing behind him?
With that gun and that single bullet.
You only got the one shot. So Rick is busy up in his bedroom deploying sleeping bags and blankets where their bed used to be. Michonne shows up and is like, what the fuck? Life isn't worth living anymore, and blows her head off. She says, look, that rifle was one of theirs. We know they didn't keep track of it. That was a completely untraceable gun. It had its serial numbers filed off.